Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so this is a project that your guys' project is one that I'm especially excited about. So I've been looking forward to this convo. How big is your guys' team for Ergodex? I know Ergo is obviously much larger than just a Dex.
Just to clarify, the Ergodex is a separate project from Ergo, and the current team state of Ergodex is 8 people in, and there are 3 front-end developers, and the rest of the team is core developers and smart contract developers, and we also have 1 product designer.
Okay.
I am filling the role as a product manager, and sometimes I'm developing front-end side of the application.
Okay. So did you start out at Ergo and then get placed on this project, or did you just start here with this project?
No, I just was working at Ergo last year as a part-time developer, and then someone invited me to the Ergodex project to manage the team because I have such experience, and I joined, yeah, and I just left my previous job and joined to the Ergodex as well.
Okay, so do they kind of separate it as if it's a completely different company even?
Yeah. We will just register or incorporate a different company, not Ergo. I know that the name relates on or references on the Ergo, but we're thinking about this, and I think maybe we will just rename the company someday.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, I know that can be a bit confused for the users, but I
Yeah.
think everything will be okay.
Okay. So that brings me to another question, how the Erg token relates to Ergodex, because I know you guys had planned to have a governance token as well, but then I heard that maybe that won't be used. So could you fill me in on like how that'll work?
Okay, just to clarify, Erg token doesn't relate to Ergodex. If you invest to Erg, it's just means nothing about Ergodex.
Okay.
We're still thinking about governance token. It is a big complex issue for us because we'll have both blockchains in our system, Ergo and Cardano as well, and we just have to issue 2 tokens. Yeah, so to make this Ergodex token should be functional, not only used for the investment or speculation or something like that, so that we have to first resolve the role of the government's token in the system, and then we will announce about that and some kind of this stuff.
Sure. So if you don't end up having an Ergodex token, how would you guys, like, what would your monetization strategy be? Would it just be a part of transaction fees or something else?
Yes, plain and simple, just transaction fees from our products like AMM or the book and some other products, which we will tell about the community a bit later.
Okay, cool. So yeah, because I don't think you guys haven't announced doing like a launch pad or additional projects like that, right?
We did not. We did not announce the launch pad at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have 4 standardized questions, and I'm sure I'll think of a bunch more questions to ask you after that. So for each of these questions, try and keep the answer to around like 1 minute, because how it's going to work is I'm talking to a lot of different Cardano dexes, and then the same standard question for everyone. So the first question, is how do you guys stand apart from other Cardano dexes right now?
Yeah, it's a good question, and to be honest, in this is hard to even talk about this because other projects are hidden and there are no open GitHub profiles at all. So, and I think this is one of the things that makes Ergodex unique, and because everything is open and you can see where we are and what we are doing just right now. Ergodex is a completely transparent project. We have open team and we have open source code. So anyone with enough knowledge and enough talent can just see the implementation and or participate in the development. So the biggest advantage of Ergodex, I think, it's our experienced team, technical team, because we already have a lot of experience with working with EUTXO model. Because we were started from Ergo, and Ergo is similar to Cardano because it's used EUTXO model too. But Ergo has had full smart contract functionality for 2 years. So our developers are experienced in EUTXO smart contract development. And this experience allows us to find creative solutions to resolve all types of problems fast and rapid. Yeah, so there are also a number of features Ergodex plans to deliver to users. So from simple AMM to more complex features like concentrated liquidity and limit to orders with the possibility of composition. So on top of all of this, the key feature Ergodex plan to deliver to the users is a cross-chain liquidity between Ergo and Cardano, of course, but someday maybe if any other blockchains on EUTXO will appear, we will just include and integrate them to the system.
Would it ever be possible to have cross-chain liquidity with Bitcoin since they're UTXO, or is that not possible?
Yeah, it's possible if we will. We are looking for a partner for this because we need the oracles to be developed on top of the Cardano first, and then we will be able to implement such assets as a Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., and cross-chain and swap these assets cross-chain.
That would be awesome. So the next question is, have you solved the concurrency issue?
Yeah, I like this question. So we didn't know that the concurrency problem, it was such a huge, large problem in the community because our tech lead, Ilya Oskin, already solved this issue on Ergo in 2019 because there was the same problem. Yeah, and we solved this problem with our DEX bots, we call them. It was an off-chain solution on the big backend, but now we just recently we found the way to make these bots decentralized. So it's one of the advantage of Ergodex because every person can run this decentralized bot to support the DEX decentralization. So they are pretty simple, just 3 parts of bots. UTXO tracker, the first part is just basically a blockchain watcher who looks for DEX transactions to execute. So the second part is AMM executor as well. This service that executes transactions in order depending on their fees. There are one more fee in our system to place this transaction in order. We call it Nitro, like gas in Ethereum. No, and the last part of the bots is a pool resolver, which watches to AMM executor and then updates the state of pools in the system. Yeah, pretty simple.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
So,
from what I can gather, it seems like it is much smaller of an issue than it was made out to be. Based on my research and the people that I've talked to, it really kind of was a non-issue.
Yeah, it's just some kind of FUD, if you know. Yeah, and already resolved a long time.
Mhm. So I know that you guys have your test decks running. Is there like a transactions per second rate or something like that that you already have, like a figure?
We don't display this in the UI, but we will display it in the stable version of the UI.
Okay. Okay. So when do you plan to go live with the official application?
Sure. This whole first DEX uh, race is just, from my opinion, silly and childish. So I know many users are watching that, but they're not asking the right questions, in my opinion. So nobody today seems to remember or care about Etherex, if you know, or Ether Delta. It's just where Uniswap came from.
Mhm.
So functional backend that empower users and work well will win in long term, we think. So the first EUTX or DEX on Cardano to efficiently port UniV3 will be something to watch, but that will take time to be done well.
Okay.
So we plan to go live. What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. We plan to go live during the October, but maybe early November, depends on issues. So we will by then have a fully developed and tested AMM for both blockchains, Ergo and Cardano. A bit later, in the first quarter of 2022, we will launch Order Book. And then a bit later, we will launch our general cross-chain liquidity functionality.
Okay. So you said that most people are asking the wrong questions. What would be the right questions that people should be asking right now?
In my opinion, this race of first DEX is not the general point to be discussed. We just need to deliver a really good product for users, but not to compete with each other. Who will be the market leader or something like that? Just a good product first. It's our opinion.
Okay. And my fourth question here is, how do you intend to make decentralized exchanges easier to use or more accessible to an everyday crypto user?
Sure. The answer is the community, because users are often the best teachers for other users. We can discuss beautiful UI, beautiful pictures, and other stuff with Dogecoin like projects, but what I see right now, it's the lack of understanding how really DeFi products works. And one of the goals of Ergodex is to increase the educational part of users, and we will make a lot of materials for the users so they can understand better how DeFi products works, how they can be profitable for users, and so on.
Okay.
So education is my answer for this question.
So this kind of reminds me, I once read a book called The Design of Everyday Things, and the thesis of this book was, if a user doesn't readily know how to use a product, it's the product's fault, not the user's fault. Like, the design is bad. And right now, my experience with using DEX is someone who, understands cryptocurrency, they're still frustrating to use. And, even though a lot of times they look nice, it's just a pain to use them. And I think that at some point someone will come along and it'll be a very simple experience. You're not even going to think that it's a decentralized version of an application. It'll just be an application. So I'm really curious to see when that transition will happen, or if that transition will happen, because I find a lot of times now, talking to people who are deep in these projects, there's so much focus on the application
Technical part.
not so much user experience.
Yes, and that's the issue we are trying to resolve, and that's why I am in the project, because as a product manager, I'm care about users.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you think it's possible to have a DEX with direct fiat payments or a way to connect to a bank account? Or do you think that's something that will happen?
I think that's a very long-term question, and I don't, I can't find a solution for it just right now. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. So is it that you couldn't find a decentralized solution? Because I could think of a way where you'd have like 2 accounts or something like that, and then maybe you could transfer from one account to the other, but to make it decentralized, that might be the issue.
No, you just can have 2 decentralized wallets and transfer liquidity between them.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a product manager, are there things that other DEXs, current DEXs are doing, let's say Uniswap, PancakeSwap, that you feel could be done better for the user experience?
Just for user experience, the best elements in user experience to increase the understanding of the products, I think it is not just about UX UI. It's all about the user awareness about the product. And first of all, you need to teach your users before they start to use your product. Something like that.
Yeah. And that's done just obviously with documentation, community, walkthrough videos, things like that.
Yes, yes. It's very long-term question. It can be resolved only with user interface.
Right. Okay. Is there, before we go, is there anything else that about Ergodex that maybe people don't know and would find interesting, or anything else that you'd like to put out there?
Yeah, sure. We're preparing some interesting NFT drop next week. Not next week, during this month. And I'm inviting everyone to participate in this event. It will be very interesting with the real thing NFT.
So where can people go to do that or see it?
Just subscribe our Twitter and other social media.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. This was illuminating on all things Ergodex, and I'm excited to be able to use the official product once it launches.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a nice rest of your day.